80 points in the paint, obviously problematic. Is that more of a function of problems on the perimeter or the rim protection?
Well, I mean, we also got Valanciunas just destroyed us when we got the ball down there, right? Especially off all those offensive rebounds, and they came in a string where, even though he ended with 16 points, it felt a lot bigger than that because it felt like he was getting what he wanted to off the glass. They got several rebounds as we were trying to wrestle with him. Their guards crashed in there and got several rebounds, and those were huge plays. Obviously, some of the drives, some of Ja's ability to box out in the pick and roll and keep a guy on his hip, put you in a little bit of a predicament. But I thought that was the difference in the game, clearly. Their baskets were very physical, very you could feel those runs and didn't feel like there was much to stop it. That said, I thought our guys competed. If we're going to be, what we've been in the past, right? We've talked about this a lot, but I think when you're missing guys like Jayson and Kemba, you have to win with a better defense, right? And I think that's what we've been able to do in the past, and we haven't played that this year. Part of it is, they presented some real challenges for us. But I thought our guys competed. I thought our guys stayed in the game. I thought they played with great poise at the end of regulation. And then, I did not think we played as well in overtime.
Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad, defensively in the second and third quarters, what did you see happen? You guys got off to such a good start, and then suddenly they couldn't miss in the second and third quarters, and it seemed like you kind of lost control from there.
Yeah, we were late on the wrong guys, first and foremost. I mean, Allen and Bain both got great looks in that first half run after we were playing really well. And then I thought we overran some of the other guys at times. And that led to some of the paint points, some of the offensive rebounds. But, there was a point in time, in the second and third where stops we weren't getting it. I mean, they went on, 7 out of 8 or 8 out of 9 possessions, and they're scoring. And even when they're not, they're right at the rim. And so that's an issue, been an issue all year. And I did think that we had moments where we were really good in there and really physical. I thought, Shemi's defensive rebounding, it felt different with him in there, the way that he was defensive rebounding. I thought that Smart standing in there and taking a couple of charges is a big deal when a team is just pounding you in the paint. But we didn't do it enough. And they got, scored 132, even in overtime. That's a lot.
Brad, what was the situation with Tatum?
Yeah, he did not feel good when he got to the gym. He was complaining of some dizziness. He went out and shot. We wanted to go through and try to shoot. This is a game where he usually, he's obviously one of the nearby cities or one of the closer cities, I guess, to St. Louis. So his grandma was here, and he really obviously wanted to play, but didn't feel great afterwards either. And it was, so we, decided to not play him. And so I hope it's nothing big. Doesn't sound, he's been testing every day, all that stuff. So I would guess it's just general illness. I hope he's back soon.
John Krause.
Brad, without your two of your best scorers, you still put up 126 points and had 31 assists. The ball movement in this game, I think, out of necessity. How do you carry that over into when you do have Kemba and Jayson while still using what their strengths are?
We talked about that the other day with all those guys, and I think you saw that more in the Orlando game. I think that this was probably more of a carryover from the last couple of days, John, than it is necessarily, out of necessity per se. Although, I do think, you can point to a couple of our worst games of the year and go back to the last 5 or 6 minutes, and some of our bench was playing great basketball. And so Doesn't mean they're always able to necessarily generate the best shot or obviously those guys are still growing and learning, but like that's the way we want to play. And that's our best chance of utilizing our team to its fullest. And it allows you, again, kind of like the defensive stuff, to be in a game like this, where you're shorthanded.
Bob Schron.
Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, Coach, you talked about it a lot, but despite the loss, does this type of resilience, is it important to keep that as a carryover as you go on this trip and the big picture type of thing?
No, I mean, I think the last 2 nights have been a lot more like Celtics basketball.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed we didn't play better in overtime. I thought I thought the ball stopped a little bit more in overtime, and I thought it was, maybe that was due to legs and, all that stuff, because those guys were all playing a little heavier minutes than usual, but they were battling. And, we made a lot of tough plays. We made a lot of plays to give ourselves a chance. The last 30, 40, 45 seconds of the game in regulation, that was like good poise stuff. And so we can build off the last 2 nights, and we've got to. This is disappointing, but it's also like, it's more who we want to look like, at least.
We'll wrap it up right there. Thanks.
Thanks.